Woo boy, have I gotten off track. It is the end of March, and if you have been following along, I have not done any reflections this month whatsoever. Welcome back to This Mindful Life. I'm Michelle Marshall. Thank you for joining me. And the reflection for March is, what do you do when you get off track? It happens to all of us. We lay out our plans, we have great intentions, we're going along, we're chugging along, everything's going really well, and then something happens and we get off track. Next thing we know, it's been a month and we look back and think, oh my gosh, what has happened? So that's the reflection for the month of March. What do you do when you get off track? How do you deal with getting off track, and how do you come back to getting on track? When we fall off track, it's really important to extend ourselves grace. Understanding that we are human and there's no perfection, there's no such thing as perfection. And no matter how great we are at scheduling, no matter how true our intentions are, things will just come up, things will happen that will get us away from the certain things that we're, really committed to in our lives. And, so grace is really important. Understanding that it happens to all of us doesn't mean that we're a failure. It's quite all right. It's very valuable to understand that and give ourselves that grace. And the grace allows us to take a moment. It's a compassionate sort of thing to extend ourselves so that we can take a moment, step back, recognize that we have fallen off a bit. It's okay. We can begin again. One of the beautiful things that we learn in meditation and in mindfulness is you can always begin again. It's the wisdom of the breath. Every breath is a new breath. Every inhale, a new inhale. Every exhale, a new exhale. Every inhale, a new beginning. We can bring this wisdom into the experience of falling off, of getting off track, whatever it is that we might have gotten off track with. So the grace and then the pause, recognizing we fell off, stepping back for a moment and looking at everything, where we were when we fell off, where we are now that we've fallen off, and how do we get back to it? Do we want to go back to all of those things that we had planned out for us? So it allows us the ability to pause and be really intentional in getting back to it, or be really intentional in what we continue along with. So it can really be a blessing in a way, because it can shake things up a bit and allow us the space to reassess our intention. Are we being really intentional, or have we fallen into sort of a rote, habitual sort of way of being with those things? So grace, pausing, reassessing, and then getting back on track. And what does that look like for you? What does it look like for me in this sense? Obviously, doing the end of March video reflection is very important, and I was determined to do it no matter what else I didn't get to in March, so it's here. But also my meditation practice, my personal meditation practice has fallen off a little bit in the last week and a half. And so coming back to that, can be really a very difficult feeling, almost a colossal sort of momentum, trying to get that momentum going again when you fall off. So part of that extending grace in coming back to my meditation practice is allowing myself to meditate for less time, to get my body back in the rhythm of the habit of sitting. And I always sit at night. That's the best time for me. But it can be really easy at night to fall into that sort of, I'm just gonna, relax. I'm just have a glass of wine, and then I'm going to go to bed and do my reading, and then next thing you know, meditation hasn't happened. So the grace that I extend myself in getting back to my meditation practice, and any time that I ever fall off of it, so it happens from time to time, is to start with less time. So instead of, having not meditated for a week and then being really harsh with myself and saying, you're going to sit for an hour because that's what you've been doing, when I come back to the cushion and commit to 30 minutes. Okay, I'm going to sit for 30 minutes and kind of recondition my body into the habit. So that's how I introduce grace into that piece, and also how I bring myself back, get myself back on track, at least with my meditation practice, and slowly build it back up to where I was before. And the reason that time is so important to me is because it's where I can really feel like I can settle and really rest in the present moment of my body, in that stillness, in that restfulness, and really begin to listen and reconnect with myself. So that time is really, really important. It's not just like, how long can I meditate? I'm going to brag. I can meditate for an hour. Maybe I can start building, to an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Like, how great can I be at it? It's not about that. It's about nurturing that relationship, and it's a very nurturing place for me. So it's very important to me to do it for as much time as I need. So yeah, how do you get back on track? How do you recognize that you've gotten back on track? When you bring that awareness to the fact that, I've gotten off track again, I need to get back on track. What sense of attention do you give to that? Is it harsh? Is there some sense of being punishing in that? Any sense of shame or regret, or any of these heavy emotions? They're really not productive emotions, but noticing if that comes up for you, those sorts of feelings. Or maybe you don't struggle with that at all. Maybe it's just like, okay, finally I can get back to it. It's a relief. This is what I was doing before. I've missed it so much. I really want to get back to it, and I'm just going to get back on track. I've finished everything that has taken me away, and I've cleared, and now I can refocus. So just presenting this reflection to you. What does getting off track look like for you? How does it feel in your body? And how do you get yourself back there? What skills, what intentions do you bring to getting yourself back on track? So as always, I would love to hear from you, and I hope that this reflection is helpful.